people to think that the phone is not different than them. Always attached. Anxiety if you can't find your phone. The minute you wake up, you need your phone. Right? iPhone, how symbolic. Not my phone. I am the phone. But that is not what Bhagavad Gita is telling us. Bhagavad Gita is telling us that we are different. We possess all these things. We can own these things. But we don't want to become possessed by these things. And that is the sum and substance of this beautiful verse that we just read. What is it saying? Let's read the translation. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes in another body at the time of death. A sober person is not bewildered by this change. Right? Even if you look at childhood pictures, yes, our faces have changed. I was once upon a really cute little baby. I became a cute little teenager. Then down to now an older woman. Yes? And soon the grape will turn raisin and your skin will become wrinkled. It is inevitable that will happen. Anything that is born is guaranteed death. Right? I like to say this very often, that nothing else is guaranteed, even if an astrologer tells you. Nothing else is guaranteed. But death is guaranteed. Because Bhagavad Gita tells you that anything that is born, death is certain. But even during that process, it is very easy to understand that we are not this body. Very easy to understand. Even scientifically it is proven. Right? You can see some similarity between your childhood picture and now. But science explains that even within 5 to 7 years, all the cells of your body are completely renewed. You don't have a single cell from what you had when you were 5 years old. Between 5 to 7 years, each and every cell is changed. Still, what is same? What do you think is same? The consciousness, okay. And what do we call the consciousness? Anyone from here? What do you think remains the same from boy to young boy to old man? What remains the same within the body? Soul. 100%. The soul. And in this verse, it is saying that the embodied soul, the word embodied is so significant here, right? The soul has just put on clothes of the body, embodied. A cast is put on the soul. Sometimes I will wear a sari, sometimes I will wear salwar kameez, sometimes I will wear something. Just clothes. Sometimes the soul takes the clothes of a female body. Sometimes the soul takes the clothes of a male body. Sometimes the soul takes the clothes of a bird, an animal, a cat, a dog, depending on our activities and our desires. Yes? We desire a particular kind of body, and then our actions match those desires, and then we are given that particular kind of body. Another very, very important thing that is mentioned in this is that a sober person is not bewildered by such a change. A person who studies and understands Bhagavad Gita is not bewildered, is known to be a sober person, right? When the Bhagavad Gita began, Arjuna was completely disturbed. By the end of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna became sober because he understood his reality, Krishna's reality, the Supreme God's reality, and the connection between the Lord and him. And he understood the temporary nature of the world. So Krishna said, whether you kill or not, they're already killed. Whether you do this or not, it will already be done. Only we in the middle think that we are so important that things will not move without me. That's not a fact. Yes? Everybody and everything is irreplaceable, is replaceable. The only thing is that it is actually mentioned, very beautiful thing. I was once discussing with Varsana Swami Maharaj, and I was saying that, sometimes the soul desires to be special. Why is that? When everyone is replaceable, then why does the soul desire that I'm special? Is that just conditioning? He says, no. In the spiritual world, we have one particular service we offer for Krishna. That is our service. It may be insignificant. Somebody may be temporarily doing it. But Krishna is always waiting for us to return to that service. Like he was waiting for Gopakumar in Brihad Bhagavatamrit. Yes, he was waiting with open arms. Where have you been all this time? So we all have our relationship with God. And what we need to understand, that we should not become disturbed by what is happening in our temporary world right now. Will we become affected? Yes, most likely. If it's hot, we feel hot. If it's cold, we feel cold. But what is important is that we don't become overwhelmed with it. We learn the art of composure. We learn the art of becoming sober. And that way we are able to dhiras tatra namuyati. We can become completely sober and understand the subject matter. This is actually the foundation of Bhagavad Gita. This is the foundation of spiritual life. Our whole purpose is to practice Krishna consciousness in such a way that we live in this world, but we are not of this world. Right? We remain untouched by the dualities of this world. We may have a zillion desires. We may have a million thoughts that cross our mind. But we need to let them pass just simply as thoughts. Only if they are favorable for our relationship with Krishna do we act on them. We don't have to act on every thought that passes through our mind. Yes? With that thought, maybe we can have some discussion. Any reflections you have, any questions you have, we can try to answer. Anything that you understand from this particular verse, we can try to understand. Would anybody over here want to say a few words? Over there? Are you coming for the first time? Thank you for joining us today. What is your name? Ishan? Beautiful name. Ishan. Place of the Lord. Yes. Isha. Isha means Lord. And Shan either means the brilliance of the Lord or also the place of the Lord. Ishan. Beautiful name. Are you acquainted with Bhagavad Gita? Little bit. Yes. Who spoke the Bhagavad Gita? Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna for the benefit of all of us. Yes. Any reflections anyone has? Yes, Prabhu. Sure. Do we use a microphone or you can project loudly? On live, yes. So please use a microphone. I didn't get your names. What is your name? Sanjay. Thank you for joining us today. Om. Thank you, Om Prabhu. What about Anjali? Thank you, Anjali. Is this your first time or you regularly? It's your first time. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Anjali.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
Like, very foundational, very basic verse, but every time we read, we get something new out of it. So, when you said that many things happen, like when there's heat, we feel heat, so we get affected by it. But you said we should not be disturbed. We should remain like, I don't know,
Composed.
Like you used the word, I forgot that. But
Sober. Prabhupada uses the word sober.
We should remain sober. So, what is the difference between being affected and being sober, like not being disturbed?
Yes. His Holiness Bhakti Tirth Maharaj gave a very beautiful example. He said that you take a bottle of water and you shake it. And then you open it. What happens? Nothing. The bottle stays calm and composed. But you take a bottle of soda and you shake it. Now try to open it. What will happen? It'll fizz everywhere, right? Sometimes we find ourselves into situations which are not as we expected them to be. And what happens? We react, right? We react based on how much fizz we had inside. Now, fizz is not something that we're desiring to have. What we're desiring is to be unaffected. Why to be unaffected? Because we understand that it is temporary. It has nothing to do with the soul. It has nothing to do with the soul. It's absolutely temporary. And the soul is Satchidananda. That is one understanding. If you go on a deeper layer of this, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj also says that sometimes all your life you're squeezing orange juice and filling it up in a bottle, and then all of a sudden you're expecting mango juice. How is that going to happen? No. If you are reacting to situations, then we need to check our daily practice. Are we really cultivating the habit of composure? Are we really in small things practicing that Krishna is the controller or the Supreme God is the controller? Or in daily things we are also thinking that we are the controllers? It is baby steps that we take that will eventually give us that understanding that we are not going to be affected. Because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the soul cannot be burnt, the soul cannot be cut, the soul cannot be killed, the soul cannot be wet with water. Yes, the soul really cannot be affected. The only time we feel the effect is when we think it is not the soul and we connect it to something else. However, we have this body. We do feel the pain of the body. But becoming affected by that is a matter of your consciousness. I may be in immense pain, but if my consciousness is so developed that pain will not really affect me. And I've actually seen examples of that. I was just talking to you about Varsana Swami Maharaj. He used to do construction in New Vrindavan, and he used to do construction from morning to evening, in snow, in rain, snow and rain combination, on his backhoe, the big equipments. All the roads in New Vrindavan he made as a sannyasi. And in fact, I was hearing from my spiritual master, he was saying that when Varsana Swami would come to the ashram, brahmachari ashram back again, we needed 4 men to pull his jacket out. Why? Because they were frozen. It was frozen on his body. It used to get wet and frozen, and he wouldn't realize all of this till the time he came back, because he was so absorbed in just carving these roads and creating this Vrindavan forest for Radha Vrindavan Chandra. Years later, of course, he had health problems. And once my husband and I took him to the emergency room because he was having such severe back problem. We took him to the emergency room. He could not even be lifted in such pain. Such pain. We had to put him on these mats and drag him, because anytime anybody even tried to lift him, he was not able to. So can you imagine that level of pain? We managed to take him to the emergency room. The doctor says, on the scale of 10, can you tell me your pain? You know what he says? 1. I said, 1? Maharaj, you're not able to move. I said, 50, not 1. He said, I think I can endure more. And that time, this verse came to life for me. That this is what it means to not be affected. Does that mean we don't take care of the body? Absolutely not. This is a gift from Krishna for us. It is our temple where the Paramatma is living within our heart. But at the same time, when we practice, when we are insulted amongst an assembly, we realize that actually the soul can never be insulted. We become less reactive. Then we understand this verse deeper and deeper with realization. So we may experience, but we do not have to. We may experience a situation, but we do not have to react. We may have 1,000 thoughts in our mind. We do not have to act on them unless they take us closer to Krishna. Then those thoughts are something that we want to hold on to because they are going to uplift us. Does that help in any way? Yes. Any other reflections? Would you like to add anything? Anjali? Yes? Ishan? Would you like to say something? Yes? Yes. It takes practice. It takes practice. We cannot expect. It takes over and over. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Abhyasena Kaunteya. Every single day we practice. We practice. There are situations that come in our life, you don't have to even work for them. They will come in our life automatically. Yes? They will come in our life automatically. And when the situation comes, sometimes we will make a mistake. Sometimes we will react. Then we go back and reflect. Why did I react? What are my trigger points? We make a note of them. Next time, we become even more careful when those trigger points come up. We make a note. We may be and what may not be. But then again we note. And we apologize. And we pray to the Lord for support. And slowly and gradually with abhyas, you will become trained to become a pure, crystal clean bottle of water and not fizz soda. Because that fizz doesn't last very long. And it's not really very, well, maybe, it gives you some sort of pleasure for a little bit, but it's not really healthy or effective. It's just explosive. Yes, that's not how a devotee is. A devotee is not explosive. A devotee reflects on what it wants to do. The devotee is gambhira, thoughtful, sober. Yes, not frivolous. Yes, Ishan. Please join us. Yes, Ishan. Yeah.
And how do you not overthink?
How do you not overthink? Overthink actually happens when we think that we control all our situations. Yes? Overthinking happens when you think that I am the controller. Bhagavad Gita clearly tells us that Krishna is the controller. But that doesn't mean that we don't do our actions. We do what is necessary. We do our work. He even told Arjuna the same thing. Arjuna was overthinking. What will happen if I kill all my family members? Who will rule the kingdom? What will happen to the women? What will happen to dharma? How will this go on? How will that will go on? I will have to take the sinful reaction of this. He was overthinking. Yes? Then he understood that Krishna is in control. The Supreme God is in control. I have to do my duty. Krishna didn't tell him that just because I'm in control, you stop doing your duty. No. You do your duty. And you do your duty to the best of your ability. But remain detached from the result. The attachment to the result is what makes us overthink, is what makes us depressed, is what makes us bound all the time. It's not easy. Nobody said the process was easy. But it is doable. It is doable. That is why we have to put effort. If it was easy, then it was not worth it. Nothing worth it comes easily. If there is some worth in something, you have to put effort. And the effort is to do your duty with excellence, beyond excellence. But remember that the results are not always in your hand. Yes? That will relieve your overthinking gradually, not overnight. Gradually. By constantly hearing Bhagavad Gita, you should take a copy of Bhagavad Gita. Keeping Bhagavad Gita, you'll be inspired. I remember my music teacher used to say, she told me, buy a tanpura, buy a harmonium, buy a tabla. I said, Arre Baba, I don't have time to learn all this. Many people say, I don't have time to read. She said, if you have it in your house, you will be inspired to play it. That's what happened. So don't forget to take a Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita will give you the insights. But with that, you need association to understand the Bhagavad Gita. So whenever possible on Tuesdays, they have regular programs here where you can read and study together. Yes? Anyone else has something to share? Yes?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
I just put some thoughts together. I really like when you really touched upon that we're actually truly the soul, right? And it actually carries, like, no matter the body is going through a journey, but the soul remains truly who we are.
Yes.
We can definitely go into more detail about the super soul, but definitely just focusing on this verse, it's actually that the soul has its own true nature. And to be sober, to be equipoise is actually, one of one of the qualities. Oopsie, hold on, sorry. So what I was just thinking is that when we actually make these endeavors to follow a path of bhakti, right, it becomes actually much easier to go towards Krishna. And then that actually becomes, we actually take shelter. That's sobriety actually becomes shelter. And I remember there was a quote saying, my mentor told me, it was like, when you depend on Krishna, you're actually that is the most liberating thing.
Yes.
Yes.
When we are dependent on the mercy of the Supreme, or we're dependent on the Supreme, that's one of the most liberating things, because He knows what is best for us. He does what is best for us. We may not understand it. There's so many tales, in the Vedic scriptures or Panchatantra tales, where they give examples of this, that even if we don't understand now, we will understand. Just like many of us have children, right? We raise children. Children may not understand that this is best for me now, when the parents are telling them. But eventually they understand that this was best for me and my parent. So Krishna is like a loving father who knows what is best for us and does what is best for us. And that realization will come when you read the Bhagavad Gita with people who understand and share the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you so much for joining us. Where are you all coming from? Just local? Yes, all of you. Are you all together? This looks like a large group. Beautiful. Is this the first time you all are joining us here? Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So we're discussing about Bhagavad Gita right now. Have you all heard about the Bhagavad Gita? Yes? Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and we're reflecting on one of the verses of the Bhagavad Gita. Would you like to share anything? Anything that you've heard? Any questions you all may have? Are you all coming for the first time as well? Hare Krishna Prabhu. Are you all coming for the first time? No. Thank you. Yes, please. Feel free to ask any questions or if you have any thoughts. Thank you. Yes.
This is one of my favorite verses that you just told. In morning I was discussing the same shloka with my son, because we were discussing that death is inevitable.
Yes.
But when we lose our dear one, applying this 2.13 in real life becomes extremely difficult.
Absolutely.
So what do we do?
What do we do? One thing we understand, that the soul has a journey. Yes? We go back to this verse and we understand, first of all, that the soul has a journey and the soul has a deep connection with Krishna. And the soul has to continue on the journey. What we can do actually, what is best for us to do, is to help everyone that is close to us understand their connection with Krishna. That is great relationships in life. Not entangling them further is not the greatest relationship, right? If this is my son, in next life he can be somebody else's son. He was somebody else's son in some other life. But does that mean it will not hurt us? Absolutely not. We're not robots. It will hurt us. But with intelligence, we control the mind and the heart. With intelligence, we understand that Krishna is a better well-wisher of that soul than I could ever be. What Krishna is doing is for the ultimate benefit of the soul. I may not be able to understand why it happened, how it happened. The laws of nature are so intricate, we cannot understand. But we can understand one thing, that the Supreme Lord is and will always remain our ever well-wisher. In fact, He is our best and only well-wisher. And only people connected to the Supreme Lord can be our well-wishers in the true sense, because they will teach us what our connection is with the Supreme. So definitely not going to be easy, but we have to keep reminding ourselves. At that time, we can take more shelter of Krishna. We can take more shelter of God and ask God, request God to give us the strength to actually imbibe this verse in our life. You know, many times I say we can know about Krishna, we can know about Bhagavad Gita, but can we really know Krishna? We have to realize Krishna. We can speak subject matter of spirituality, but to imbibe subject matter of spirituality can take us lifetimes. It can take us lifetimes. It's a process. Does that help? Yes. Yes, Jeeva Doya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. You mentioned many beautiful points, but one point that stood out to me was like we are in this world, but we are not of this world. So I want to know that how can we practice it, and why is it important?
The biggest practice that we can do to understand that we are not of this world is to come regularly where people are discussing that subject matter, right? It is so easy to go, you know, we have jobs, we have bills to pay, we have families to take care of, and we are on an everyday basis, we are doing things to maintain relationships connected to this body, expenses connected to this body, and responsibility connected to this body. But we should also set aside some time in our life where we focus on our most important relationship with the Supreme. Because husbands will change from life to life. Spouses will change, children will change, parents will change, relatives will change. But there is one person that has constantly been with you through every lifetime. That is the Supreme Lord in your heart as Paramatma. Yes? Sometimes we call him gut feeling, sometimes we call him sixth sense. But he's the Supreme Lord as Paramatma within our heart. When we make the effort to set aside time to come in association of people who are discussing the subject matter, we are reminded. And with that remembrance, when we start making, this is now only remembrance. Now we need to also take one step towards him. We start chanting his holy name, expressing to him that we want to remember you. We want to be in your association. We want to serve you. And when we regularly do that in the association, then the dynamics does not become out of proportion. It first becomes in proportion, then it leans more towards spiritual life. Does that help? Yes. Yes.
Second question, a follow-up. So, yes, we are not of this world, but we are in this world. Well, we are personalities, right? We are a very individual persons, and a very close to us is our body.
Mm-hmm.
So we might get into this mentality, like, we might start identifying ourselves with the body. But a soul can, a jiva can recognize that they are not this body, but they are this soul.
Yes.
But not everyone realizes this, and there might be a constant remembrance, like, okay, you look beautiful, or you look thin, or you look fat, and then people would endeavor to, to come to make sure that they are looking the same, or make sure that they are fit and fine, because they are getting that appreciation. So how can we get rid of that bodily mentality?
So one thing we have to understand is when we're saying that we don't have to constantly meditate on the body. That means we have to, but that doesn't mean that we don't care for the body. And it doesn't mean that we don't accept the compliments of the body, but we don't become consumed by it. Let me explain what I mean here. Is that even in this world, even people who don't practice spirituality, they will say, look beyond the body. You know, it's not important as to what you have on the outside. It's not important how you look. It's what you carry within your heart that's important. Even people that have nothing to do with spirituality say that, right? And that's because that's confidence. You're speaking at a soul level. You're seeing a person beyond what he looks, because that changes. Yes? People go through accidents, they become deformed. People go through so many things. You know, fat, thin, tall, thin, whatever. All that is temporary. But our experiences with the body will be there. They will be there. So there could be good experiences with people appreciating the body. There could be bad experiences with people negative talking the body. But at the same time, composure is what we need to maintain. The same time, we take the compliments also as temporary. We take the insults also as temporary, and we realize that we are above all of it. That is spiritual life. That's the foundation of spiritual life. Will it happen overnight? No. Will it happen eventually? 100%. Because Bhagavad Gita says, by daily and regular practice, it will happen. We just forget. We need to keep reminding ourselves. Even outside in the world, you know, you have motivational speakers that remind you, rise above your body, rise above what you look. Where do they get that from? It's foundational from the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is one of the most motivational book I have ever read in my life. Right? Arjuna was completely dejected when the Bhagavad Gita began. And he was absolutely motivated when the Bhagavad Gita finished. One of the most crucial motivational books. The only problem here is you need to read Bhagavad Gita together with people that truly understand Bhagavad Gita. Because it's not just motivation. It's got so many wonderful layers. Motivation is just the start. It's got so many beautiful foundational layers that we understand our role, our connection, what the purpose of our life is. Is it just going to work and paying our bills? Is it just that? Or do I have a higher purpose in this world, in this life? How do I perfect my life? How do I help others? How do I become a better person? How do I rise above my envy? How do I rise above my jealousy? How do I separate these negative traits and not see them as a part of me? I may experience, if my friend is doing really well, I may experience jealousy. But is that me? No. Bhagavad Gita says it's a negative trait. You need to move it aside. You need to deal with it like a disease. Cure it. That doesn't define you. Yes? What more motivational than that? That doesn't define you. You start seeing these problems as not your problem. You start seeing these as separate problems and ailments to deal with. They don't define you because the soul is above all of this. Yes? So the very fact that in this verse we understand that we are a soul and the body changes. And before many of you came here, I was expressing that scientifically also it is proven that within 5 to 7 years, every single cell in your body is a new cell. Yes? So we don't look the same as our cute baby pictures. And we're not going to look the same. We're soon from grapes going to become raisins, yeah, wrinkled. No matter how much advancement the cosmetology industry makes, there will still be fine lines and there will still be inevitable. That's what it's saying. Jara, Vyadhi, inevitable. And what is most inevitable is death. I have to tell you all this. So I was speaking about this in a university, and someone asked me a very significant question that may be analyzed. And he said, why do we always talk about death? Isn't that so sad and negative? And I said, absolutely not. Death is not a negative. You know, we spend our whole life learning the right art of dying. Because that is something that's inevitable. That's a final exam. Why not prepare for it? Why do you want to stay in this illusion that, oh, tests are cruel? No, test is inevitable. What is intelligence is you prepare for that test. That's what an intelligent person does. Okay, death is for sure. Maharaj Yudhishthir in Mahabharata, he says, one of the most surprising things I have seen in my life is that everybody knows that death is inevitable. Still, everybody lives like they're never going to die. Yes? Not only death is inevitable, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his poem, he says, Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. It is so uncertain that we don't know who is young and who is old. Right? We don't know who is young or who is old. So, Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. The water droplet on a lotus leaf. You know, when the lotus leaves are usually waxed. They have wax, so that's why they don't catch the dirt. They're waxed. But a water droplet on it can fall anytime. We don't know when we're going to die. Why not prepare for your final exam? It's going to be a surprise test. A good student would prepare for the surprise test. Wouldn't we? Yes? Some students here? Prepare for the surprise test. How do we prepare for the surprise test? Regularly by coming to places where we talk about what it means to be a soul, what it means to have connection with the Supreme. Take the Bhagavad Gita home. Try to read and understand the Bhagavad Gita. You have questions, come back here. Ask for questions. Talk to people who discuss. If you want to be a real estate investor, you hang out with real estate investors. If you want to be a drunkard, you hang out with drunkards, right? If you want to be fitness freak, we have a gym trainer here, you hang out with gym trainers, right? So if you want to understand the subject matter of the soul, you hang out with people who talk about the soul. Simple. And in most of ISKCON centers, people are focused on talking about the soul. So my request to each and every one of you is that if you don't have the Bhagavad Gita, please take a copy. Try to read. And it's not an easy book to read. It's not going to be an easy test. But come regularly. Speak to people who are studying the Bhagavad Gita. Try to understand the science of the soul. Try to be prepared for this surprise test. Yes? Any other last few reflections or questions or something that you're going to take with you? Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, please. Mm-hmm.
So it's mentioned that we have to be fully dependent on Krishna. So how to be fully dependent on Krishna and also be independent in the material life so that we always make the right decisions for ourselves?
So the understanding here is, one, that when we say you have to be dependent on Krishna, you have to understand that we have to still put our effort. Our Krishna has given us free will, right? It's like you go up to the top of the building and you can decide to either see the view or you can decide to jump. Once you jump, then you have no control. Then gravity will take over. Yes? Krishna has given you free will to make a choice. You do your duty. What is your duty? You have to care for the body. You have to care for your relationships connected to your body. You have bills to pay. You do all of that. But you add Krishna. Bhagavad Gita says that your body, your house, your relationships, your cars, your business, everything is like a zero, right? Because it's temporary. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You have many zeros. But when you understand that Krishna is the controller, you put that 1 in front of the 0. Now all those zeros, which actually had no value, become extremely valuable. Now you can have as many zeros as you want. Why? Because it's going to become even more valuable. When your foundation is rooted in spirituality, then nothing will shake you. We're not asking you not to have these zeros. Be very successful in your career. Make a lot of money, have wonderful cars, take care of your health, have beautiful relationships, be an asset to the society. All of these are temporary, but they're zeros. What we need to do is we need to take that 1 and put it in front of all the zeros. We understand a foundation. What is putting that 1 in front of the zeros? It makes us understand that we are not the doer. We can put the action, but the result is in the hand of the Supreme. When we put that 1 in front of all the zeros, then you have 20 zeros, the value will only increase. But most important thing is to put that 1 in front of the zeros. That is what you learn from the Bhagavad Gita. Does that help? Yes. 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 Any reflections from here? Anybody want to share something that stood out to you? Something that you'd like to take home with you? Any takeaways? Anyone from here? Back there? Thank you for joining us. Yes? I didn't get your name. Yes. Pooja. Thank you, Pooja. What about you? Devansh. Thank you for joining us. Pooja, Devansh. Anjali, I remember. Sanjay Prabhu. Back there? Maithili. Vaidehi. Maithili and Vaidehi, almost the same thing, right? Mother Sita's names. Thank you for joining us. What about you? Harshit. Thank you. First time? Wonderful. Thank you. Anything that stood out to any of you? Something that maybe you think can resonate with you? Don't be shy. We're a small group. Would you like a microphone? No? Anyone would like to share anything? Sanjay, Prabhu? Yes? Back there? Here? Anyone would like to share anything? Okay, feel free. Whenever you want, the microphone will come to you running. Okay, yes. Somebody had something to add here. Yes.
Sorry, if anybody else wants to go, I can definitely. It was just a last reflection about when you were talking about death. I think we spend so much time of our lives planning, building a life for us, but we don't put so much thought in, planning for our death. But I think on a personal level, training myself or trying to train myself to be equipoise or to be positive when tragedy occurs. Sometimes we get very unfavorable news or, something, a death happens. Well, I really like that you said that the Bhagavad Gita gives us the tools and the instructions and the biggest motivation of how to pursue and how to make progress in our own spiritual life. So thank you for reminding that death is coming, but how to be positive.
We become bewildered when when something comes in our life that is not expected, right? But these are expected things. Bhagavad Gita says we will get old, we will become diseased, we will have problems, and we will die eventually. But at the same time, do we have to become depressed about it? Absolutely not. It's a part of life. We need to learn how to be prepared for that final surprise test. That's all. It's that simple. Yes. So with that, yes. Could you please pass the microphone? Tell me your name. Are you coming for the first time?
No, it's not my first time, but after a long time I'm here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. So,
Your name?
Gaurav.
Gaurav. My name is Govind Priya. Thank you for joining us, Gaurav. Yes.
So, when we are talking about death, we are talking about our death, right?
Yes.
How about the death of our loved ones? For example, like, in reality, I'm a very practical person and I have seen
Yes.
a couple of my friends, lots of my relatives passing by, and then, a lot of dear ones. But then this is a very recent thing which happened with me. So I lost a dear friend of mine who was and he was in India, and he recently passed away. Like, it's been a couple of weeks. And after that, I had a dream that, someone very close to me passed away. And because, like, since I moved here, it's
Yes.
a different country for me. So
Yes.
I was like, if something happens, I am mentally, I'm mentally prepared. But after that incident happened, and after that, I had a dream that someone from my family passed away, and I couldn't just take it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
how do I, like, should I detach myself from that thing, or how should I deal with this thing?
Yes.
Like, it's more kind of, not a question plus experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
First of all, our condolences for your loss. And it's not been too long. So really, our sincere condolences. When we die, in my opinion, I think what's harder is to live, right? Someone who dies, I think it's not as hard, but to live with a loss of someone is very hard. It is very hard. But we have to use our intelligence, Time and tide wait for no one. Have you heard of this proverb? Time and tide wait for no one. And with due course of time, even the hardest of relationships and the strongest of relationships, their loss becomes healed with time. We've seen in our own families, like our parents lost their parents, we lost our grandparents, right? Now we are at the stage that we might lose our parents. And that cycle has always happened. What we need to register is that we don't need to forget that experience. We don't have to become succumbed by that experience. We don't have to become depressed by that experience. But what happens is we forget that experience and we start carrying on again with the same merry old life. That this will never happen to me. Then again we are caught by surprise. Then again we are hurt. But if it is something that is expected, there's 5 students and we know that there is going to be a surprise test. So one student says, I'm going to study in advance. I'm going to be prepared. I know there is going to be a surprise test. So when the test comes in front, he's not as shocked as the others that were an illusion no surprise test. I will pass. They're on their merry old way. So as spiritual practitioners, what we're doing is we're remembering. Surprise test is inevitable. And we spend our life, I call it the art of dying. Basically, it's the art of living, right? In such a way that your surprise test does not become a shock. We're prepared for the surprise test. Even though we don't know when it will happen, how it will happen, but we're prepared. We know we will lose our parents. We know we have to experience the death of our loved ones. We know our loved ones will also have to experience our death. But we remain prepared. Yes? It takes practice. And it takes association of people who talk and think in those lines. Because it's very easy to forget. It's very easy to forget. It's like you tell your children, right, keep the company of good students because you'll be forced to study. So we tell, keep the association of people who think about the soul. You'll be forced to think about the soul. Just that simple. Does that help? Thank you. Thank you for your question. I think we can stop if there's no reflections or questions. But thank you everyone for joining us. And if you feel inspired, you can take one of the books. Or you can also, and I think we have this program every Tuesday. Yes, he's going to make the announcement. Thank you. This works better.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for this. This is probably the most awkward introduction because it's happening after the class. But we don't want to let go of all of you without letting you know who you heard from. This is our dear guest, now a family member, Her Grace Govind Priya Prabhu, who has come here all the way from the States. And she's not only a teacher of the discipline of Bhakti Yoga tradition, but also a teacher of the teachers as the vice president of the GBC college. And she holds multiple posts in her pocket and administers several things. But more importantly for all of us, she's someone who speaks from the wisdom of Bhagavad Gita and believes in practically embodying it in our day-to-day lives, which is why the session was as it was. So thank you all so much for joining. Every Tuesday we have sessions such as these where brilliant speakers, you're in my way, so if you can, they're brilliant speakers join us and they help us to uncover the packed wisdom within Bhagavad Gita. So we request you to join every single Tuesday, and whenever you can, come to the temple at events such as this. As Prabhu was constantly emphasizing on having the appropriate company to absorb the knowledge present in the scriptures. This is one of the best platforms that you can find in the middle of a city like Toronto. So please come and join us every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. We'll be very happy to have you. And we also have some prasad right after, which we'll be distributing it to you. And as the speaker multiple times emphasized on the importance of keeping a copy of Bhagavad Gita with you at your place. So please don't leave the temple this evening without taking a copy. It is a sincere request. And you can take one. I'll offer you a copy of Bhagavad Gita and you can please take it with you. Another announcement is about an amazing event which is upcoming, if that interests you. How many of you have ever been to a retreat or a vacation of some sort? A few of you have. That's fantastic. So we have something coming up, what is called the Vaishnava Sanga, which literally means an association of devotees. It's a 3-day retreat in Stratford, which is just 1 hour from here, a cute little Shakespearean town. So if you are available and if you can join, it's an opportunity that you cannot miss. Because there are prominent spiritual speakers coming from across the world who are ready to give us this nectar of Bhagavad Gita. And there's, like banger of a kirtan happening day and night there. It's a lot of fun, good youthful energy present with 200, 300 people. So it's An incredible spiritual getaway for those of you who are interested. More information is available at the front desk, and my friend is handing you a flyer too. So please register, and as the spots are filling up really, really quickly, you have only a few spots left. So we hope to see you next Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much to our speaker for giving us such knowledge. Very valuable. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.